What's up guys, Nando here with one more video, and we've got the iPhone 8 Plus right in front of me. So if you're new to my channel, I like to do the series reviews in which I talk about things to consider, which is what this video is about, and then ultimately finish off with a likes and dislikes final review. So for this video, like I said, it's a video about things that have stood out to me in my about 1 week usage of this phone. I got this phone right when it came out on the 22nd. And so far, today being October the 2nd, I don't know exactly when you're watching this phone, but just keep in mind, I'm sorry, not watching this phone. I don't know when you guys are watching this video, but do keep in mind that this video has been done with about a week, a little over a week usage experience time with this phone, okay? So, a couple things off the bat, guys. I don't want to talk too much about this phone because there are tons of reviews out there on this phone already, the iPhone 8 and the 8 Plus. In front of me is the 8 Plus, but there are a couple things that I think that everybody kind of encounters a little differently. One thing is, obviously, guys, this phone looks exactly the same minus the back when it comes to the 7 Plus. And I think the 6S Plus for that matter too. Other than the glass back, this phone looks exactly the same. Because of the glass back, the coloring on this phone is a little off. So I have a clear case on this phone, obviously, as you guys can see with all the halo effect. But it is the space gray. And if you're thinking about getting the space gray, keep in mind that it's not going to look like your typical space gray. I would put this phone as a hybrid of the matte black and the jet black. So matte black and jet black got together, and this phone is what came out of that little rendezvous. So I like the color. It's a little different than what I'm used to, so I'm not really upset about that, but do keep that in mind. With that being said, I was also considering the gold model, and I think that that's one of the colors, if not the color, that you have to see in person before purchasing, because that gold color in the pictures looks fantastic. And I'm not going to say that in person it doesn't look fantastic, but it's not what I expected. To me, it looks more like a sandpaper gold. It looks like a creamsicle color. It's a little muted. It's not as poppy. The size of the phone, that gold stands out, and I really like that gold. So to some, maybe that contrast between the back gold and the side railing gold looks good. That's for you guys to decide. Let me know in the comment section below if you're considering that color, or maybe the space gray, or even the silver, because I really dig that silver with that glass. It just looks clean. Now, I haven't set a timeout on this phone, so I apologize that I keep having to wake up the screen. And it's hard to tell through the camera, but this phone does have True Tone display. And for those who don't know what True Tone display is, it's something that Apple has introduced with their iPad lineup. So here's the 10.5 Pro, and they brought over finally to the iPhone. And that's something that I absolutely love. What that does is it kind of takes in the surrounding color, the surrounding light, and tries to mimic or just kind of mellow out that color so the screen isn't so harsh on your eyes. Hopefully that makes sense. The best way for you guys to experience that is really to see it in person, and obviously, you know, maybe there's some reviewers out there that have kind of shown it. Basically, turn off True Tone display and you'll see those blue harmful tints, you know, the blue stuff that's not good for your eyes at night, and then turn on True Tone display, and then it's just more calm and subtle on the eyes. It actually, to me, it's relaxing. I also consider it basically like you know, that night display mode or whatever that you use at night. To me, it's like a lighter version of that for your all-day phone. It's obviously it's more intricate than that, but that's kind of like the dumbed down version of True Tone display. So this phone right here has that, and I really dig that. Another thing to keep in mind is wireless charging on this phone is present, but it's not very fast. So if you're looking for wireless charging to be something that's going to get you like topped out really quickly, that won't do it. That's more a convenience factor. When you're sitting around the house or something, you just drop your phone and go about your business. So I didn't expect it to be as slow as it has been. I've used it briefly at work with a coworker's Samsung charger, and it worked. It's not very fast. It's actually faster on his Samsung S8 than it is on mine 8 Plus. Now, on the topic of battery life, the battery life on the Plus has been really good. Here's one screenshot I took the other day Phone was at 25% left. So there's the 25% so you can see it. And it had 7 hours and 19 minutes of screen on time with 19 hours and 45 or 44 minutes of standby. Now, with that screen on time, you have to keep in mind that Apple kind of takes in background battery usage and applies it towards usage. So if you're coming from Android or you're used to seeing battery life review videos on Android, we know that with Android, screen on time literally means has your screen been on, and then what's been using, or what have you been doing with that screen on. With Apple, screen on time or usage is overall what is using your battery up. And so far, I mean, 7 hours and 19 minutes with 25% left, that's great. So even if an hour of that is background processes, that's still over 6 hours of screen on time. I think that YouTubers across the board have talked about how good the battery life on the Plus model. I can't comment on the smaller one. I don't have it, haven't played with it, don't intend on getting it. But on the Plus model, no complaints whatsoever on battery life. And to finish off the topic of battery life, I don't have a fast charger for it. Apple really requires you to spend and pony up another 40, 45 bucks for their bigger watt battery charger, and I'm not about to do that, so I can't comment on how fast that goes. Lastly, yes, people have talked about how great this camera is, and it is great. I'll touch up on that in my final review. But one thing that I do want y'all to know at the end of this video is that the speaker quality on the Plus version of this phone is fantastic. Much, much better, in my opinion, than it was on the 7 Plus. And you've got speakers at the bottom here. I think it's the bottom right-hand side, and then the speaker grill on the top. And regularly, I have only about 3 to 4 little dots of speaker volume notched up, and that is plenty for me. And I'm dead serious about that. Of course, that's with me in bed watching YouTube or listening to music, but that just shows that, you know, way less than 50% of the battery, or way less than 50% of the volume is being used, and this thing pumps out volume. And it's not tinny. It's got some real deep fullness to it. I really, really like Apple's improvements in the speaker department of this phone. The sound quality is very, very good, and that stood out to me to the point that I had to mention that to you guys in this video. So there you have it. Battery life is solid. Speaker's great. The screen quality, yes, it's not an OLED. You know, we know that, but that True Tone display makes this screen a lot better. Wireless charging is a thing on this phone. And, you know, those are things that you guys should probably consider if you're looking into buying this phone. Definitely things that I really, really like. Don't like how slow it is on wireless charging. Keep that in mind. Everything else so far, for the most part, has been an enjoyable experience. So stay tuned for my final review on this phone. I'll drop some likes and dislikes. No device is perfect. If you haven't subscribed, do consider doing so. So when that video drops, you already know what to do. And stay tuned for some other videos as well, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. It was Nando. Just like the screen has dimmed out, I'm dimming out. Peace, salute, and stay geeky like always.